Oh, I've hit another one. I've hit a few of them, but I'm trying to think as I'm leaving the game Saturday and I'm driving home, and it's that time and it's the deer are out, and so I'm thinking as I'm driving down the country road and there's this deer on the right side. You know, what makes the deer dive into your car and do that instead of thousands of acres, beautiful acres over here, food and everything, not go that way? So as I'm approaching it, that's exactly what it did. It did, what, wham! And it's like as I'm turning away, and then what do? You got to stop, you got to turn around, you got to go figure out, is it deceased or is it still alive? Do I have to do something? This one happened to get lucky and was gone, and then it's like one of these, okay, how much damage? So I'm trying to figure out, like, get inside of a deer. Why does the deer do that? I'm trying to figure out. Then I was thinking, like, if I was smart enough, you could invent something, right? And put it on the front of your car. And as you're driving down the country road, and it's got those beams or whatever, and all of a sudden, a warning light, something. Hey, something like that, yeah.
Or just crank your Dwight Yoakam in the car, roll down the windows.
No, that'd be attractive. They'd all be coming after you.
The Jeep that's hit deer all these times, or is it the same one?
No, that's, the last car that I hit one with, it ended the car's life. That was it. Then you then you get out and it's like, oh man, not good. It's like all dented up, and then you take it to the insurance company and look at it, it cost too much to fix, so they total it. Yeah, so that was my wife's car, so she wasn't too happy with me. Said, hey, no, but that one came out of the median, and it just like, it's like they're attracted to them. Yeah, so that was Saturday night. Experience. Hey, well, that's the other thing. Yeah, where if they come flying into your windshield, and those things can get you. So that time of season, you get out there and early in the morning, and then right when the sun's going down, just in there, they're filtering around. And what makes them come into the car?
Yeah, you're asking guys with smaller brains than the deer. So.
And then it's like, okay, get into my players. What are they thinking? I don't know. So here we go.
Sometimes the deer are more coachable than players.
Are they turning into the car? Are they turning into the wrong part of the ice? Right.
Yeah, so it's like, that's our job, get in their heads. I mean, interesting. Talking
Let's
about
talk
deer.
about Duluth.
Duluth. All right, let's talk a little hockey. Yeah, it's good.
What do you played them before, obviously. What do you expect out of a team that's lost 4 in a row? It kind of feels like there's going to be some higher interest from them to get back on the winning side this weekend.
Yeah, I think, any team that goes through some adversity, focus gets a little bit clearer. They get determined. They get a little hungrier. Similar to what we saw in St. Cloud. Their structure is very similar. They defend well. They've got a very good goaltender. If you're going to get scoring opportunities or getting chances, you're going to have to earn those. And so rink size is very similar to what we just went through up in St. Thomas with short corners. And so, it's this time of year, things are going to be challenging, and then we'll sit here a week from Tuesday and talking about the next team and the same conversation going on. So, it's like, I was talking to Brian this morning, like, how does Kansas City win all those tight games? And then you listen to all the different people that are in the business or have been in the business and understand the game, and they do all the little things just a little bit better than you do, and those things all add up. And then when you get to the end, they're comfortable in those uncomfortable situations, and that at different times, somebody within their group, whether it's on offense or defense, special teams, they'll make a play. Then the next person makes a play. And so they're doing all these little things at crucial times within the game. And then when you get to the end, that's probably why they win. I mean, And so this time of year, you know, whether you're playing Duluth or Minnesota, doesn't matter who you're playing, you're getting into the playoffs, am I doing those little things? And they just get magnified right now.
So how do you rate how your team is in those uncomfortable situations, especially coming out of Sunday when you
Yeah.
saw that they're in that?
Yeah, it's most of the time we're doing well. We're doing well. I mean, you look at the goals we gave up this past weekend. You know, goofy type bounces, tip-ins, deflection type things. You know, we defended pretty well. Our penalty kill was good. Our power play was good. So 5-on-5 play, you know, at times, can we get a little bit better? Yeah, most teams can. And so can I do that for an extended period of time? And can I do it for 60 minutes? And that's the goal. And knowing that it's like golf. I don't know if you were watching golf the other night, and Tiger and those guys, you know, they started making putts in there. And it looked a lot different than the first time they were playing because nobody was making putts. But, you know, can we do that for an extended period of time? And that's the goal. And it's like in golf, the objective of golf is to get the lowest score or try to play the perfect game. And are you ever going to play the perfect game? Probably not, but along the way, if that's my goal, I'm going to end up getting pretty good at it. And so, you know, that's the process when you come back Tuesday after the weekend, is continue, you know, working on things, continue to, you know, feel good about your game, continue to be confident as an individual and as a group, and be excited. I mean, in a few days we're into February, and you know, the playoffs are around the corner, so it's a fun time of year. We've gotten through January almost, and now we can enter into February and be excited about the way things are going.
In hockey, what are those little things? What are some of the biggest little things, I guess, that you try to do a little bit better?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, how are your face-offs, you know, in certain parts of the ice? I mean, face-offs is one of those stats where if you're, you know, 55, 60%, then, you know, you're chasing the puck after they drop it less. And that's you know, a stat that you can look at, and how are you doing? If you're not doing well at it, then you know, what can I do to get better at it? Am I willing to block shots? Am I managing the puck at both blue lines? And so, you know, there's 6, 7, 8 things that you know, if you look at and you say, hey, we've done those really well, and at the end you look at the score and, oh, that's why we won. We probably did those things well. But you know, you got to be able to compete. You got to be able to manage, you know, when the other team pushes against you. So, yeah. Didn't give you a detail of 1 through 7, but you know, there's some things that you look at, and you know, the eye test for me is, you know, are we playing with pace? Are we playing with tempo? Are we moving the puck? Are we back checking hard? Are we covering the house? Are we protecting our flag? You know, things that we talk about, and you know, try to educate our players. And you know, are you reading forechecks properly? Are you strong in the neutral zone? It's a complicated game. It really is, because in the other sports, you know, at some point you're going to get the football. In basketball, you're going to get the basketball. In hockey, there's no guarantee. You can go the whole game without ever touching it. You know, because they drop it, and then if the other team is a lot better than you and they puck possess, I mean, you're not going to have it much. That's why overtime, you get 3-on-3. What do they talk about? Puck possession. So can I win that opening face-off? Because now I've got puck possession. I was watching a game the other night, and the other team didn't touch a puck, and there wasn't a whistle till 10 seconds to go in overtime. It went 4 minutes and 50 seconds without a whistle. And one team had the puck for the first 3 minutes. So puck possession's a big part of that too. It's fascinating, but it's a hard game. But that's why it makes it so intriguing and fun. And so, you know, what we were working on in September, we've gotten better at, and now you're getting into that phase in the season where, you know, every night you're going to get tested because everybody else is dialed in and playing much better than they did the first half, and so it makes the second half so much more exciting.
You said a lot that one of the biggest things for any team that wants to be great is they have to unite, they have to be together in the locker room.
Yeah.
How do you think this group is doing that compared with some of those really successful groups? And I mean, what more can they do, I guess, to take another step to being the level that you want to be by the end?
At some point, it's, you know, it's trusting your teammates, and, you know, we've been together, you know, long enough where that should be in a pretty good spot. And so if I can trust that you're going to do your job, you know, then I can focus more on what I need to do and not worry about that. I think overall the unity of the group has been strong. I mean, it's been in a good place. There's always going to be some, you know, some bumps and some things that go on, and that's just being family, and being around each other for a long time, and a lot of that's healthy. I find that to be, you know, be good, and so you figure out how to get through that stuff and become stronger because of it. But I think, you know, as we enter into February, it's about believing in one another, trusting one another. I think they care for one another, so, you know, and the unity part of it, I think it's good. I think it's, you know.
Is it a benefit to play, you know, Duluth right after you played St. Cloud, where they kind of similar, good goalie, packed in, you know, good defense, hard to score on?
Yeah, the thing I appreciated about, you know, this last weekend is, you know, they made you play hard. If you wanted to get the puck, or if you wanted to get a scoring chance, or if you wanted to create something, it wasn't easy. And it wasn't easy for 6 periods. And, you know, then we went into overtime Sunday. So when the game's competitive, the game's at a real high level. I mean, I thought the first period Saturday was a real fast-paced, you know, period. Both teams were playing at a high level, and those are exciting. I like watching those because it showcases that, you know, we can play up there. And, you know, again, going into Duluth this weekend, you know, can we take some of the things that we learned about playing hard against St. Cloud into this weekend? And if we do that, then, you know, then we'll have a chance to be successful. And then we'll come back against Minnesota. So, you know, we'll have 3 weekends and 6 games against really good opponents, playing at a high pace, playing in a real competitive atmosphere, which is great this time of year. Because, you know, then we'll get a weekend off and we'll finish up in Bemidji, and then we have playoffs. And so we'll be at that mindset, and hopefully at a playing level that springboards us right into the playoffs.
I don't think you ever want to not win, but is there something beneficial in the long run to a tie game now? So you know, having that pressure on you that kind of maybe helps you in a few weeks.
No, I mean, we're in the business of winning. And so whether adversity comes in a loss, whether adversity comes in something else, I mean, you're always dealing with that stuff. But, you know, pressure is what you put on yourself. And it's all, to me, about preparation. What are we doing in practice? What are we doing to prepare ourselves for that game? And if we trust our preparation, if we trust that we're doing the right things, then I should be able to go into that game being comfortable and confident. So, are you working on your putting? Yes or no? If you haven't been working on your putting, and now you're playing against Todd here, and you get to the 18th hole, and you got this 4-footer, and if you win, he's buying you something afterwards. If you lose, guess what? You're buying him. Well, what am I going to reflect on? Well, geez, I've been working on my putting for 6 weeks. Boy, I had Andy North give me a lesson there, and then I ran into Jerry Kelly, and he gave me a couple of tips. Actually gave me a putter that I'm feeling pretty comfortable with. And so now I get in that scenario, and I look over that putt, and I'm sitting there, and it's like, what? Oh, boy, right in the back of the hole. Let's go, Todd. I'm going to have top shelf this. I'm going to have a nice sirloin steak. And if you haven't been practicing, haven't you prepared, it's just like all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, and now I get a little tight. Leave it 3 feet short on a 4-foot putt. So, yeah, because it's like, yeah, there's going to be pressure on everything, but, you know, pressure is good. I mean, it turns your stomach a little bit, gets you fired up, but that's what we do. I mean, stress is a different thing.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I was getting at is, I mean, that preparedness for that, you can't simulate that in practice. I mean, you can practice your putting, but until you're on that 18th green, and that's what I was getting at about
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Guys.
But it's like, you know, you watch those guys, I mean, pros, and they get on the putting surface, and it's whether it's the first hole or the 18th hole, their routine's the same. Well, why are they doing their routine? They're not changing it because they're comfortable in their routine. They've practiced it 1,000 times. They're very comfortable, and it relieves the nerves and gets them to relax and trust the process. See it, feel it, trust it. Okay? So I see my shot. Now I see that 4-footer. It's going to be a little left to right break, inside cup, right? Now I step back, I feel it, and then as I grab my putter and I go back, now do I trust it? And that's the step we're going on. So now I've got players that have been in this scenario before. They've played under pressure games, whether it's with the national team, whether it's in national championship games, playoff games. They have to rely on those experiences and trust that they're capable of doing things and going on the ice and in that situation knowing that we're going to be successful instead of being afraid of something bad or not things going well, you know. So I'm playing to win. I'm on my toes. I'm not going to play on my heels. I'm not going to, you know, worry about that.
You should see the putter I've got.
Yep.
Albert Einstein gave me this.
Which is okay. I mean, it's like, if that's the putter that works, right, Paul?
Amen.
That's the putter that works.
Really, 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 really.
So Steve Stricker goes along, he's probably got the same putter for a long time because it works.
Finally switched after about 25 years.
25 years, yeah. And then all of a sudden he has a bad tournament, or, you know, a couple putts didn't feel right, then guess what he's going to do? Go back to the other putter. He trusts that one. So your preparation for that event is, yeah. But the key between now and next Tuesday, is there a device you can put in your car that'll honk this deer?
You checked Amazon? Because
I'm gonna, yeah, it's okay,
I'm
yeah.
sure somebody selling something.
Hey,
They're deer whistles. Right?
deer whistles, I like it.
Deer whistles just
I mean, everything now, these new, I don't have a new car, but it's like these new cars, I mean, you're driving along and everything you do is something beeping and turning, your wheels are shaking, I mean, your steering wheel's shaking. It's got all these safety features, but it's like, there's that deer, he's sitting right on the side of the road, why does he go that way? And hits the house, hits your car.
Work on that. My wife's still working on the mag